High fives all around as we are close to wrapping up most of the spring season. We will show you both the lacrosse squads as well as wrap things up for baseball and softball. The best is coming your way. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. Joe, we're close to the end.
We're
right there.
One team remaining in action. A couple of Cardinals headed to the state track meet this week, which is pretty exciting.
Very exciting.
But the boys track team or lacrosse team, a phenomenal finish to their year, a great start to their section tournament, and they're not done, but now they're going to need some help. They're up against a very tough squad in the semifinal on Tuesday this week, and since we were off for the holiday, the Memorial Day holiday last week, we have a couple of weeks to get caught up on. We'll start with the baseball team, wrapping up the regular season that last week of May. Cardinals thumped by Andover. The Huskies just on a tear to finish the season, and they are starting the section tournament just absolutely on fire. But they downed the Cardinals 14-2 on the 23rd. Zach White 1 for 2, so was Jaden Kopp. Each of them drove in a run. Mark Manders also 500 from the plate. Ankerfeld took the loss, pitched just 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits, but 5 runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts. Nick Bradley also pitching in that outing for the Cardinals. Then they took out Shakopee. They finished the regular season schedule with a win, 6-1. That makes them feel a little bit better, 7-13 to wrap up the regular season. Jaden Kopp has had a great season for the Cardinals with the bat in his hand. Finishes with a 2-for-3 game, at a double, a walk, and a run driven in. Colin McCullough got in and drove in a pair. Sammy Lee, 2 for 2 from the plate with a couple of walks, scored a run. Zach White got the win, went the distance, gave up just 2 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So the Cardinals opened last week's double elimination section tournament as the number 6 seed, traveling to take on 3rd-seeded Centennial. The Cougars jumped to a big lead early in the regular season meeting between the two and cruised to a 14-8 win. Cardinals knew limiting the big innings for Centennial would be key to staying on the winner's side of the bracket. Coon Rapids starts the scoring in the second. The squeeze is on. Sammy Lee bunts. Caden Kleba fields it and fires wide at the plate. Zach Novak scores on the error. Cougars get an out at third, but the Cards are on the board. Centennial strikes back in the bottom of the third. Bases loaded. Nobody out for Brendan Hemmer, and he launches it to straightaway center over the head of McCullough and off the wall. 2 runs will score, and the Cougars take the lead. And they weren't done in the inning. Jake Slipka coming to the plate next. He grounds it to first base. Patrick Wright tries to get the lead runner at home, but Vinny Rice slides in safely to put Centennial up by 2. Will Whalen next at the dish, and he'll drive in one more deep fly ball to center. McCullough is there for the out, but it's deep enough for Hemmer to tag and score on the sacrifice. 4-1 Centennial after 3. Same score into the 6th inning. The Cardinals start the inning with 3 straight singles. Mason Myrie drops this one into left center. That will allow Novak to score from second. Deficit back to 2. That's as close as it would get. Cardinals trying to rally in the 7th. Novak with a blooper down the right field line. Looks like it's going to fall, but Aaron Skripek lays out to make the diving catch and end the ball game. Cardinals sent to the consolation bracket with a 4-2 loss.
The Cardinals were in Blaine on Thursday facing their crosstown rivals in a must-win game. The Bengals were upset by 7th-seeded Duluth East, so they came in looking to take out some frustrations. The Bengals beat the Cardinals by a single run in early May, so this game came down to who could get the better start to keep their season alive. Unfortunately for the Cardinals, the Bengals feast in the first inning. Damon Temke singles to right. Adam Anderson will come in from third, the game's first run. They're just getting started. Bases loaded for Ethan Pettis, and he grounds it through the hole on the left. Temke scores easily, and it's 3-0, still nobody out. Bengals sent 14 men to the plate in the first inning. They had 7 hits, 4 walks, and a couple of Cardinal errors. This double by Adam Puder with 2 outs was the only extra base hit. It scores 3, Blaine up 10-0 after the first inning. It was 14-0 going into the 5th. Johnny Ankerfeld with a liner to right field, his only at bat. This will score Garrett Rotzine from second to avoid the shutout, but the Cardinals season ends with a disappointing 14-1 loss to the Bengals.
Yeah, it's tough, and that was kind of the story of the Cardinals season all year long, giving up big innings, some questionable fielding at inopportune times, but a pretty young team. That's the good news of it. They did have some strong seniors that they will lose, that will leave a hole for them to fill, but they return a lot. But the story all season long was problems in the field, too many errors, and giving up the big innings. And against Centennial, they did much better this time. All 4 of those runs score in 1 inning.
Yeah, as we talk about all the time, they're when they fall behind like that, they're not built to come back. And that game against Centennial, even though Centennial was the higher seed, I thought they played really well. They were competitive. They had a shot at the end of the game to at least try and tie it up or stay in that ball game. But unfortunately, they came back and faced Blaine. And as you mentioned, as we talked about,
it got real
they
ugly.
Feasted on
it
Coon
got
Rapids.
real ugly real early. And the Blaine Bengals are still alive, or are no longer alive. Andover and Centennial, the last 2 teams to be undefeated. I think actually Blaine and Duluth East are the other teams that are still alive, and one of them will meet Andover. But Andover hasn't given up a run. They've scored, 23 runs in the 3 games, have not given up a run. So they are sitting pretty going into the championship round on Tuesday, and they would have to lose twice, and to this point they have not given up a run. So things looking pretty good for the top-seeded Huskies, and I think they closed out the regular season with something like 10 straight wins.
Yeah, they're having a good year.
They're really just rolling and have been since early in the season. Well, the softball team finished the regular season 7-13, which meant a 5th seed for the playoffs and a trip to Andover to start their section tournament. Cardinals lost to the Huskies 13-3 in the regular season finale, and exactly a week later, they were ready for a rematch with a lot more on the line. It's a double elimination tournament, but you always want to avoid the first loss as long as possible. Cardinals jumped to a lead in the top of the first inning. Chloe Christie with a 2-out single that will plate Leah Numala. And in this game, every run was crucial. Bottom of 3 now, runners at the corners with 2 away. Coming up, Holly Dunleavy grounds to short. The Cardinals really look like they get the out at first, but Dunleavy is called safe, and that scores the tying run. It's 1-1 after 3. Still tied in the 6th, Grace Graham crushes one over the head of the fielder in right. The double puts 2 in scoring position with only 1 away. Christie coming up next. She grounds it to the left side, and it's booted by the shortstop. Lily McKenzie will score from third. Coon Rapids is back in front 2-1. Bottom of the 7th, bases loaded, 1 away for Morgan Costeca. She sends a high fly to right. Ness is there for the out, but Amelia Volcati will tag and score on the sacrifice. Game is tied at 2. The winning run moves over to third. Ariel Zhang on the mound. Her pitch is high, gets away from Mellum. Lacey Heppel will hurry home, slide in safely, and the Huskies will advance with a 3-2 win.
Tough way to lose a game.
It was.
Especially on that particular play. Your pitch is a little bit high. It gets over the head of your catcher, and they score in from third.
Well, and the tougher part is, and I looked at it over and over again, such a bang-bang play at first that allowed the first run to score. I looked at it several times. I still think she was out. How much of a difference that would have made? Hard to say.
You don't know for sure.
There was still they still may have been able to rally in the 7th, but still it was a tough bang bang call to go against them. And you could see in Carlson's face she was shocked.
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
it was called safe. But, unfortunately, that was the way that the cookie crumbled that day. And it sent them into the consolation bracket and must-win game against the 3rd seed Anoka Tornadoes. They come up short 7-3 in that one. Grace Graham 1 for 3, hit a home run, a 2-run shot in her final at bat of her career. A good way for her to close out a pretty impressive career, but they're going to lose a lot to graduation with Grace Graham, Leah Numala, Jen Carlson, just to name a few. They have a whole lot. They have some nice youth. Maya Ruddy turned out to be one of their top pitchers. She's just a sophomore. Ariel Zhang, I spoke with her mom before the game. She actually goes to Epiphany, and because of where they live, she will be going to Spring Lake Park next year.
That's unfortunate.
So just an 8th grader, she did a great job, and she came in a really tough position in that Andover game. I mean, she came in with a lot of pressure, a couple of runners on, the game on the line, and it was unfortunate, as you mentioned, for it to happen the way it did. But top seed, I believe, or no, 2nd seed Forest Lake making their way through the bracket for softball. They will represent Section 7 4A in the state tournament. There you see blanking Blaine 12-0 in that championship contest.
That's impressive to win that as a 2nd seed, 12-0 over the one.
So the tennis team, the individual section tournament was that final week of May. San Mario was the number 4 seed, trying to get to state for the 2nd straight year. Unfortunately, his bid came to an end in the 2nd round. He won the first 6-0, 6-0, but lost to the 5th seed from Orono 6-1, 6-1. Ryder Held was the other single in the event for the Cardinals. He lost in the opening round to the player from St. Michael Albertville in 3 sets. Jansvold and Savelli won their first match 6-0, 6-0 against Park Center, but then lost to the 5th seeded duo from Wyzetta by that same score. And then Cooper Held and Dylan Anderson were the other doubles team for the Cardinals. They lose 6-2, 6-3. And again, not a single senior on that entire roster.
And they had, I was just going to say that they're so young and so dynamic, and they had, I thought they had a really nice season, going into the individual or the team individual and tournament. But I think coming in next year, a lot of those younger players got a lot of experience under their belt and opportunity now to take that forward. Because we always talk about it, tennis is a game that you can play anytime. You can play it during the summer. You can improve your game as you go. So
and a lot of these guys are really committed to the sport.
Yep.
Sam Murillo will be a senior next year. Clearly was meant to be a number 1 singles player, but for Ryder Held, the 10th grader, and Cooper Held, the 8th grader, to really prove themselves in those 2nd and 3rd singles positions this season, another year of seasoning, if you will. They are going to have a very strong lineup, top to bottom, next year, and it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Season not quite over for track and field. The last couple of weeks, they've had some very big events. The last week in May was the conference championships. The boys finished in 6th place. The 4x100 was finished in 2nd place. Nathan Kavanaugh was 2nd place in a tie at 12 feet. Kingsley Freeman was 2nd place in the 110-meter hurdles, with Smith finishing 5th and Dean finishing in 7th. Christopher Dean also 6th place in the 300-meter hurdles. Dowdell was 6th place in the discus. DeMarge Johnson was 6th place in the 200 and 7th place in the 100, and Nyanpan was 10th in the long jump. The girls were in 9th place. No surprise to see Kennedy Martinson winning both the hurdles distances and being the conference champion there. Grace Kara, 2nd place in the pole vault at 10 foot 6 inches. Martinson finished in 4th place in 10 feet flat. Michaela D'Souza was 4th place in the 100, 6th place in the 200. Rory Ritzenaya 21st in the long jump with a distance of 14 feet 4 inches. Discus, Capan finished in 22nd, and Ava Kerr was 26th in the high jump. Section tournament, we have some champions on both sides. For the boys, MJ Galama, first place in both the high jump and the long jump. The 4x100 meter relay team finished third, but qualified for state with a time of 43.10. Same for DeMarjay Johnson. He was third place in the 100 meter dash, but also qualifies with that time of 10.92 seconds. Kingsley Freeman just off the podium in the 110 meter hurdles in fourth place. Christopher Dean was fourth place in the 300 meter hurdles, fifth place in the high jump. I believe it's Edward Tabla. It's hard, though, for me to remember because there's also, I believe, Elijah Tabla. Yeah. They're both E's, but I believe it was Edward that finished sixth in the triple jump. Nathan Kavanaugh was eighth place in the pole vault. Kennedy was eighth place in the shot put, and Awada was ninth place in the discus. That's a lot of top 10 finishes. A good showing for the Cardinal team at the section championships. Girls side as a team, not as good. Seventh place, Kennedy Martinson, the best meet of any single athlete. She section champion in 3 events, 100 meter hurdles, 300 meter hurdles, and the pole vault. She set a section record with a pole vault of 12 foot 1 inch. It's also a school record, first time that a female Cardinal has gone over 12 feet, so congratulations to her. But she had the best finish of any athlete at the section tournament and will be at state in 3 different events. Grace Kerr will also be at the state tournament in the pole vault, qualifying with a vault of 11 foot 1 inch. Michaela D'Souza just missing in both the 100 and 200 meter dashes. She finished in third place in both of those events. Molly Knobloch was ninth place in the 100 meter dash. Rory Ritzenaya was eighth place in the triple jump and 14th place in the long jump. Stella Bowen 15th in the 1 mile run with a time of 5 minutes 52.83 seconds. Capan was 16th in the discus, and the 4x100 meter relay team just missed with a 4th place finish in 51.06 seconds. So Thursday and Saturday, the state tournament, the state meets, and the good luck definitely to the Cardinals that are on their way.
Great representation by Coon Rapids in the state coming up. And yeah, when you start your season, your goal is to go to state, but not everybody makes it. And for Coon Rapids to send a number of athletes to state, that's great. And as you're right, we wish them all the best.
Yeah, if four events on both sides, right? But for the boys, that's 1 relay team plus 2 others, so 6 total. And on the girls' side, it's only 2 athletes, but Kennedy Martinson, who was there in both hurdles events last year, hoping that she can finish even better this year. And with a vault over 12 foot at sections,
so impressive.
She has a chance to make some noise at the state level as well. So best of luck to all of them, and we hope to have some very positive updates to talk about next week on Sports Night. Similar story for the golf teams as far as their schedules the last 2 weeks, with the conference championships in the last week of May, and then last week getting their section tournaments in. The boys team finished the Northwest Suburban Conference Championship in 13th place. Leading the way was Dylan Thompson with an 85, Oscar Berg shot an 86, Gavin DeVries an 87, and Caleb King shot a 90. Their captains Nathan Clark and Peyton Himley shooting a 91 and a 97 respectively, a little bit off of their normal pace. Then they went to the section championship, again back at their home course. Cardinals finished with a 355, which as a team, they would have liked to have seen those numbers going down. But as we talk about all the time, so hard to make too much of an improvement in a game like golf over a 6 or 8 week high school season. Thompson led the way with an 87. Nathan Clark an 88. Gavin DeVries an 89. Caleb King a 91, as was the same score for Oscar Berg. Peyton Himley finished with a 97. None qualifying for the second round of the section tournament. Girls team also finishing their season with the Northwest Suburban Conference Championships. Now the girls, obviously, most of their events are 9-hole head-to-head, so to play a tournament format for 18 holes is not what they're always used to, but Eleanor Defoe leading the way with a 91. Kate Garbo a 93. She struggled a little bit on that back half with a 49. Maya Kelly shot a 116, and Dawson finished with a 138. And then the section tournament last week, Eleanor Defoe did qualify for the second round. Struggled mightily in that second round after shooting a 96 in day one. She shot a 120 in the second round. Maya Kelly shot a 128. Emily Verbeek a 138. Kelly a 147th. And Kate Garbo, unfortunately, was not able to finish and was well over par after 12 when she bowed out. But they too, they have, both of the boys and girls have some younger players.
They do.
They'll lose some strong seniors at the top. But golf. One of the great things about the Coon Rapids golf team is you get to play on Bunker Hills, which the gem of Coon Rapids.
Phenomenal opportunity.
But as part of it, you get a season pass.
Right.
Not every high school golf team gets that. Most
all summer.
They once the season's done, they're done. You want to go out and play, you got to pay every time you hit the course. The Cardinals have that card. They can play all summer long, and their coaches, I guarantee, are encouraging them to do so, because this is when you improve. Like I said, you're not going to see a lot of improvement over the 6 to 8 weeks of a high school season, but over the course of the summer through the fall, and then if you are so inclined to spend some time in the simulator over the winter, or you're fortunate enough to be able to go on vacation somewhere warm, where you're able to get the clubs out over the winter vacation, you could come back in a much stronger position. Boys lacrosse, as we talked about last week, or the last 2 weeks ago when we talked about it, we were sitting here, we were talking about they had 3 games left in the regular season. They needed to win 2 of 3 to finish above 500. Or no, they needed to win just 1 of 3 to finish above 500. They were going to play 2 teams above them in the Northwest Suburban Conference, but we felt it was pretty good chance they could win 2 of those 3, and they proved that to be the case by outlasting the Falcons 11-10 in overtime back on the 23rd. Blake Lewick leading the way with 8 of the Catbirds' 11 goals. Tucker Anderson, Owen Spencer, and Harry Koval had the other tallies for the Cardinals. Tucker Anderson also added 3 assists, but that was a big one because Armstrong was one of the teams ahead of them in the conference. Then the Catbirds just dominated Champlin Park, beating them 12-4. Blake Lewick adding to his impressive tallies this year, 7 goals and an assist. Tucker Anderson also had a nice game with 3 goals, 2 assists. Owen Spencer had a couple assists. Max Walls had a goal, so did Julian Packard. And then they closed it out, unfortunately, against a very good Centennial team. They gave them a good run against the Cougars. This was the one, if you may remember, was postponed because of that was the night of the tornado here in Coon Rapids. But they come up just short, 13-9. They lose to the Centennial Cougars. Finished the regular season with an 8-5 record. Blake Lewick with 6 goals and an assist in that one. Owen Spencer had a goal and an assist. Harry Koval and Tucker Anderson also getting goals for the Catbirds.
Well, the Cardinals' outstanding season earned them a 3 seed and a first-round bye for the section tournament. So they opened the postseason on Thursday, hosting the Champlin Park team that beat 12-4 just a week earlier. The Rebels were coming off a 16-2 win over Grand Rapids in the first round, but the Catbirds would be a much more formidable opponent. Catbirds start the scoring off the Rebels' miscue. A bad pass gives Blake Lewick a wide-open net, easy goal. one of the easiest goals, obviously, of his career. Luke had 7 against the Rebels first time around, and the Catbirds keep feeding him in the playoffs. Luke gets in close, shoots low. The goal, SLPCR, is a quick 2-0 lead. Luke again, this time on the give and go. He fires it from up top. His third of the night. He scored 7 against the Rebels again. Owen Spencer is a dangerous weapon as well. Straight off the face-off win, charges to the net, scores one of his 3 in the game. He also had 3 assists to go with those 3 goals. We're going to move to late in the first period. Catbirds with the advantage. Great pass to find Henry Leff at the back door. He scores. SLPCR dominating with an 8-1 lead after the first. More scoring in the second. Harry Koval drawing the defense and feeding it out front. Tucker Anderson finishes in close. He had 4 goals and 2 assists against the Rebels. Koval doing the work again. His shot is stopped, but Keegan Kudrowski able to sweeps it home with the rebound. It's 13-3 at the half. The Catbirds cruise to a 17-9 win, and you were there.
Yeah, it was
marvelous photography, by the way.
It was 17-3 at the end of the third, I believe, and then they put some different pieces in, put their backup keeper in, kind of called off the Dogs, and knew they had secured the win, moving on to the semifinals. But yeah, this is a team that we talked about it. Last year, the first year of the co-op, were just kind of getting their feet wet, and they were pretty young and just learning how to work together. This is a team that it's kind of win now.
Right.
They have
yeah,
to.
absolutely.
They have 15 seniors, but now they're on the road to take on the second-seeded Chisago Lake Wildcats on Tuesday. Centennial, the number 1 seed, winning easily over Hermantown Proctor. They will get number 5 seed Duluth that upset Anoka 17-5. On the girls' side, they finished up the regular season against Centennial, losing 22-3. That was another one of those games that just they didn't have a whole lot of opportunity.
Nope.
Their last 2 games came against 2 of the best teams in the Northwest Suburban. First against Centennial, Kennedy Bolander had all 3 goals for the Cardinals, and then they finished up against Maple Grove, lost 17-0 against the Crimson, and finished with a regular season record of 4-9. Well, the girls didn't get a bye in the first round like for the section tournament like the boys did, but as the 7th seed in the 12-team bracket, they did get to start on their home turf. Cardinals opened the postseason against Anoka, a team they had beaten by a single goal during the regular season. They knew nothing would come easy, especially with one of their top scorers still sidelined with an injury, and would most likely be a tight contest to the final buzzer. Anoka scored first, but the Cardinals have the answer. Maddie Fowler feeds Kennedy Bolander out front. She scores up top. Game tied at a goal apiece. Bolander was just getting started, and that combo continued to click. After another, Anoka went up again. Fowler finds Bolander out front. She scores again. It's 2-2. Cards take the lead just a minute later. Katie Wigan finds Delana Washburn in the hole. She scores her first goal of the season, puts Coon Rapids in front 3-2. Final seconds of the first half, game tied at 3. Sam Martholz launches it downfield. Wigan able to scoop it up on the run. She scores with just under 20 seconds left in the half, and the Cardinals go to the break up 4-3. Unfortunately, the Tornadoes storm back in the second half. Layla Alm weaves her way out front, scores low. Her third of the game put Anoka in front 5-4. Cardinals had a tying goal waved off, and that put more wind behind the Tornadoes' sails. Taylor Paquette racing from behind the goal line and scoring to put Anoka in front 8-5. They just kept coming. Anoka outscored the Cardinals 7-1 in the second half. Sydney Myers' tally put them in front by 4 with 7 minutes left. Anoka ends the Cardinals' season with a 10-5 loss. And they move on to the semifinal round on Tuesday. They lost in the quarterfinal round to Centennial, so Centennial on to the semifinal round on Tuesday. All 4 of the top seeds advancing, and all pretty dominant in that quarterfinal. Champlain Park, only a 12-9 win, but the others putting up huge numbers.
We were at that game, the Anoka Coon Rapids game, and give credit to Anoka. They did a really good job in that second half. The Cardinals, unfortunately, just really couldn't get into the flow, and Anoka made them pay. And obviously, as you saw there, outscoring them 7-1 in the second half and securing the victory.
Yeah, and not having Anna Koepke was a big factor. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Paris Foster behind the camera and Howie Shapiro on my right, I'm Joe Young saying good night.